Love, 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 love. High, 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 high. Hope you're well. Hope you're swell. Hope you're wavy. Hope you're wavy.
You didn't good, doing amazing. You didn't know us. Doing really nice. Got mosquito out of my hand. High pressure check this one. That's irritated. There might be mosquitoes under my desk, so remember this. So they don't bite my feet on the floor. I was getting assaulted last night, man. The book is progressing, by the way. I finished the segment yesterday. Getting close to the end. Getting close to the end. Bear with me. Patience, patience. It will be done soon. It will be done soon. I'm about to head out to get some new slippers because my current slippers are broken. My mom had to mend them. Shout out my mom, man. She's really good with like technical stuff. Usually. Look at the bottom of this. Oh, I don't know if I can show this. Okay, man. It is what it is. So, as you can see, you got these two straps here and they broke. You see this? They broke. So what my mom did is she put like a little elastic hairband. It's very dirty right now. And then she like broke a very big pin. It's not a paper clip or something. It looks like a paper clip, but I think it's used for something else. It was very big. A metal one, and she broke it with her bare hand. And she used this to tie this elastic hairband. Okay, so now you see it can't go out. So that's how she fixed the issue of the broken slipper. Same thing with this one. She found another elastic. I think she got it from one of the COVID masks. She cut it off one of the COVID masks that we had lying around. We had like these contexts we had during that period, that lockdown period. We had a bunch of masks, but it wasn't like the nonsense ones. It was like, these were like fabric ones, like proper masks, thick fabric. And like the straps we put on here were made of this elastic material. So she used it for the slipper. So shout out my mom. She's very dependable. She fixed my slipper for me. But she told me, I'm not fix it again. You have to go buy yourself some new slippers. I'm lazy. I don't want to go all the way to the mall and buy slippers. So I've just been putting it off. I think I'm going to go today. Go today and get some slippers. I don't like getting outside of the house unnecessarily. Anyway, I'm going to go do that. I kind of skimped on exercise today. I did exercise, but barely exercised today. Because I'm walking to the mall, so I'm like, that'll count as my exercise for the day. And I did like a few bicep curls and some push-ups. That's it. That's all I did today. I'm gonna walk to the mall. I also like, every month I get my mom dark chocolate. She really likes dark chocolate. So I get her like a stash. There's a Lindt store at the mall. You know the chocolate brand Lindt? I get a bunch of chocolate slabs, and like they sell these chocolate wafers. You know the Lindt balls a lot. I don't think she likes the Lindt balls, to be honest. She never finishes them. I'm I'll start buying those and probably get her something else. I'll see what I can get. Because there's stuff at the Lynch store that you probably won't find like in supermarkets and stuff, like exclusive items. I love shopping there. So I'm gonna see what I get her. I hope they have specials, because last time they had specials for the wafers, and oh my gosh, I saved so much money. I got like a pack of 20 wafers, and how much did I pay? I paid like 50% of what I would have paid if I had got them like separately, outside of that special. It was crazy. I felt there's nothing that beats the feeling. Well, I'm sure there's a bunch of things that beat the feeling of getting a good deal, but it feels good when you get a good deal. I'm sure like having a newborn child and having sex and having like a lot of money, I'm sure that feels better than getting a good deal, but getting a good deal feels pretty good. Let me tell you. You just feel like, yeah. You just feel like you won, like you achieved something and you just save money because you just got a good deal. Anyway, so I'm hoping that they have another special today. There's a shelf. There's a shelf they have with like items that need to get out because they're expiring in like a month or two and they need to sell them quickly. So I'm hoping because my mom doesn't take more than a month to finish the chocolates. She takes about a month. I buy a lot. And then she just eats it sparingly. And it lasts her about a month, a couple weeks. I also like take some here and there. I ask for like a wafer or a piece of chocolate or something like that. So I participate as well. I'm being helpful. I'm helping her finish it. It's actually very considerate of me. But I love my mom, man. She deserves it. Love to do more. Yeah. One day. You know what I realized about my mom? Like last time I bought her the chocolates, I didn't really. The lady at the till when I was at the wing store, the lady behind the counter, she was asking like, "Do you want a bag with this?" Because they package it, but then like there's like special bags you can put it in if you want. I was like, "No, just give me the chocolate," and I put it in my backpack, and then I went home. I should have gotten the bag, like the nice looking bag, because I remember the last time my mom finished her stash, and she depleted her stash. I saw that she kept the packaging because I put it in this like gift bag the last time, before the last time, so the second time. I put it in a gift bag and she kept the gift bag. And I just throw it away, it's done, what are you doing? But then I realized she likes the bag. I think women in general, this is one thing I've noticed about girls. Like this is like a fairly recent observation. Girls really like cute things. Like they get emotional. I've seen girls at the brink of tears when they see something that they really like that looks nice to them. Oh my god, that's so cute! And they just start getting emotional. And they're hugging each other. I'm like, yo, what's happening right now? Me personally, I don't care. Like, you could give the chocolate to me in my hands. You just here. Okay, that's not practical. It'll melt. You can give it to me in a see-through plastic bag. And I'll be like, man, okay. It came from Lynn's store, so I trust it. And I'll go on like that. But I think with my mom, the packaging definitely matters. Not that she appreciates it less if it doesn't come in great packaging, but she definitely appreciates it. It's not like she'd be ungrateful if it comes in not so good packaging, but she definitely appreciates it more when the packaging is pretty. So you'll spend a bit more. It's not that expensive. You spend a bit more on the nice packaging because they actually sell bags at the Link store. It's not like it's like paper bags, but they got like designs on them and stuff. So that you can give it to people as gifts. You can give the chocolate to people as gifts. So I think I'm gonna invest in that. It's not that expensive at all. I'm sure. I'm assuming. Because the last time I got the bag, it wasn't from the Link store, it was from some other place. So I'm assuming Link's bags are more expensive. I'll see. But it's like, okay, but how expensive can it be? Let me not say that. I get there and they're telling me a bunch of nonsense. They're telling me it costs just as much as the chocolate. And I'll be like, y'all lost it. I won't get it. I won't get it. I will not get it if it's too expensive. I'm not, no. Yeah. I don't care that much. I'll just leave it. And the chocolate is enough. Here, Mom, here. But yeah, shout out my mama. She's great. I remember like living apart from her for like, a brief period of time. I was in cooking school, so I was living by myself in a foreign land. No, it was still in the country, just different province. And we would video call every day, so it wasn't that bad. Shout out technology, man. Bless the person who came up with the video calling stuff. Amazing. It does make a difference. Imagine back in the day, bro. You go on some voyage, you never see your prince ever again. What, you're doing right letters? Bro, the wind can just blow really strong and your letter's gone. Don't chase it, it's gone. Look, you could just picture someone chasing a litter across the hill. I have to catch it, it's going to my mom. Bro, it's gone. Let it go. What a time, man. Imagine how ass it was living back then. Trash. Now you can just video call someone in an instant, they pick up and you can see their face. It's not the same thing as being someone in person, but hey man, it's better than whatever the hell people were putting up back in the day. Oh my god. So it was nice being able to video call. This was like 2021. Being able to video call her and check on her and stuff. See what's going on. I think about wanting to travel. I want to have a period of time. I'm just traveling for like a year or something. I'm gearing towards that already. The opportunity arises somehow. And the part that sucks about it is being far from my mom, for sure. It's just lost time, you know? I'm very physical, so I love hugging my mom, kissing her on the forehead, and it's not the same video calling and whatnot, physical contact, man. So I think about that, like, I definitely do want to travel a lot at some point. But you know, one day when I have a family, settle down in the house, I definitely like her to live with us. If that's not so. I would believe my wife would be cool with that. You know, that's a normal family thing. Sometimes the parents stay, or my mom would stay. Hopefully my wife is cool with that. You want someone who gets along with your mother. You want someone like who can be close with your mother and they can have that mother-daughter relationship so that it's not a strain on the family if my mother is staying with us. And she's not a high maintenance person. She's very independent and she can handle herself. And she's not clingy or she doesn't need attention constantly. She grew up like very so her grandfather, so my great grandfather was a very, very strict man. He was a prison warden and a police officer at some point as well. And he had this weird thing he would do. It's actually like why? But he would name his grandchildren after these were nicknames. He would name them after the prisoners he was taking care of. So each child had a name assigned to them. I think my mom's name was Dende because there was a prisoner named Dende that he would take care of. He would oversee and whatnot. And then her siblings also had other names. assigned to them that were also the names of prisoners. And that's how they addressed it. He never called them by their real names. He always called them by their prison names, which is actually interesting. And he was very strict. He kind of ran the household that way, with that structure. So my mom wasn't allowed to play with boys, first of all. No, wait, she wasn't allowed to play with girls. She was never allowed to hang out with girls because my great grandfather was like, it'll make her soft. So she was always like, if she was with people, she would be with boys most of the time. But most of the time she was actually alone. She wasn't really allowed to go out like that. So, because, she lived like in a farmstead. When I say like she lived in a farm, I don't want to make it sound like she was wealthy. She was not wealthy at all. Like, she was poor. This was poor. This is like Zimbabwe. You need to understand. This was poverty. No shoes. No meat. She like rarely eat meat, even though they were looking after animals. Her mom was a domestic worker, so she would clean up houses and stuff. But they had a bit of land that was, I guess, theirs. They would look after it. So she'd spend a lot of her time looking after the livestock, the cows and the donkeys, and that was her life. Every now and then she'd hang out with people, but she really wasn't allowed to most of the time. So she always tells me how she grew up a very solitary life until eventually she was able to go to school and I'm talking about university. Until she was able to go to university, and then that's when she started making friends and stuff. And met my father and so on and so forth. But she had a very tough upbringing. It toughened her up because, and I think it was a good thing because subsequently when she went out into the world and had me and my brother, things got tough, but because of her upbringing she was able to weather a lot of storms. And she was telling me that I never used to understand why my grandfather was so hard on me, and I used to resent him for it. But then as I grew up and life was throwing all sorts of challenges at me, I'd see other people crumble, I'd see other people break down, but I never broke down, and I always kept chugging ahead. And my mom was very resilient. She's very resilient. Sometimes it almost seems superhuman. And I think part of that was instilled in her. I think part of it is natural, but I think part of it was instilled in her by her grandfather. For sure. I think he prepared her. It makes me think of Kratos and Atreus from the God of War series on PS4. How Kratos, he gives a speech at the beginning of the game, I think, where he says, the road ahead is unforgiving, it's cold and unforgiving or something like that. Because he's very harsh to Atreus, and Atreus is just crying, what's going on? Why is this guy such an asshole? But Kratos actually loves his son a lot, but he's like, whoa, the sort of threats in this world are crazy, and I need you to be prepared for that. I wouldn't be doing my job if I just coddled you and baby you. So I need to toughen you up so that because Kratos was thinking what if I'm not here? Because he's very strong and powerful and all, but he's not invincible. What if I kick the bucket and there's no one to protect you? What are you gonna do? And I feel like that's true love, right? That's true love. True love isn't making someone feel nice all the time. It's actually doing what's best for them. Because you actually care about their well-being in the long term. I feel like that's what good parents do. They prepare you for life. So that's what my great-grandfather did. He prepared her, and hey man, he had unconventional methods. At some point she tried to run away from home when she was younger. and the whole night she was gone. She was hiding somewhere. The village was looking for her. People were worried because she couldn't take it anymore. She's like, this guy is unhinged. He's too mean. It's too harsh. So she tried to escape. Well, not try to escape, but she hid. She didn't get very far. She just hid. And yeah, I think he felt bad about it, but I don't need to change. At that age, bro, you can't change. No, actually, well, she said he became a bit softer after that incident where she tried to hide. She did hide. She said he became a bit softer. So I do think he did love her, just in his own way. And yeah, she said she was grateful, man. She says she is grateful for the things he did. And yeah, like I said, hey, man. It worked for her because like now when she faces challenges, she just has a different type of perspective that other people don't have. She's very strong. I think she was just getting wrecked. So yeah, I say all that to say that's the type of person that's the type of person that would be living with us. She's very independent. She wouldn't be bothering anyone or like being a pain in anyone's ass. So that's the pitch I'll make to my wife, like when I'm saying like, yo, can my mom live with us, please? Time is limited, man. I don't want to spend like a decade or whatever. You know, some kids just, they move away from their parents and they don't really see their parents that often. And time goes on and eventually you get a call like, oh my gosh, like, oh, someone's crying on the other side of the phone. They're gone. You're like, what? You didn't even get to get a lost word in. Nah. I want to stay close to my mom and have her gather nearby so you can take care of her. And she just always has people she can depend on. Because she's the type that will like also just deal with things on her own. Yeah. You just need to make sure that you keep an eye on her so like you know that she's good. So every month when I get her these chocolates and stuff, it's just a token of appreciation, of affection. But yeah, I think the bird's got to leave the nest at some point, right? So I'm definitely probably have a period of time, I'll probably have a period of time where I'm traveling and far away from home. And that's fine. We'll be calling and checking up on each other. And then yeah, like I said, eventually I'll settle down. And she's very stubborn. I'm always telling her like, yo, if I move out of the country, you'll follow, right? You won't just stay here. We live in South Africa. You won't just stay here, right? And she's like, you know what? Because she recently bought a property, it's just a piece of land, and it's got a house on it and whatnot. We don't live there because that's where she's operating a business currently, but she plans to move the business out. At least out of the house, but maybe keep the business on the same property. So then we can move into the house at some point. So, you know, she's very attached to that property as of right now. But I'm like, yo, if I migrate and I'm living somewhere else, you're going to have to figure that out. You're going to have to figure it out, put someone else there. I don't know what you're going to do, but it doesn't make sense for you to stay here and then I'm somewhere else. You know, I'd like to live with me. I'd like to be with my sister. I say sister. She's my cousin technically, but we grew up together. So it was my mom's sister's child, and then my aunt passed away. So then her daughter, my cousin, was living with us, and effectively she was my sister. So I call her my sister. her and her sister. Call them my sisters, just because that's the dynamic, that's the relationship. But they're technically my cousins. I've talked about them before, so I'm just saying that to clarify if anyone's confused. Because the only blood sibling I have, like technical sibling, is my brother. Yeah, I have a half sister from from my father's side. Black families, man. Yeah. There's always some like half sibling. Anyway, we're not very close. We haven't talked in years. We're not very close at all. I don't even know how she's doing. To be honest, I don't know if she's alive. That's terrible. We don't have that much in common, to be honest with you. But shout out, homegirl, my sister. Hope she's well. Anyway, so my sister / cousin, she recently got accepted to a university in the States, in Michigan. I don't know much about Michigan except Detroit, and Detroit doesn't have a great reputation, but I don't think she's studying in Detroit. I think she's studying somewhere else. If you're moving to the States, I don't know if Detroit is like the first place you go to. Shout out anyone who lives in Detroit, by the way, no offense, but yeah. Like, there's just certain places you don't want to visit, like Detroit, parts of California, Chicago, New York. The places that are reputation for crime and high cost of living. You want to go somewhere that's relatively affordable and there's no drama. You just don't hear news about that place. It's just very chill. But anyway, I say that to say my sister's going to study there. She's getting her master's. So she's getting her master's in IT, something in IT, so that she can get like high-paying jobs. Because apparently in the Michigan, I was looking this up. In the Michigan area, in that state, there's a lot of IT jobs. So they're looking for people like you. That realm has a lot of high demand for professionals. So she's smart to get her master's in that, so that she can pursue employment, and then her son will come over. She has a toddler. He's 5 years. He's so adorable. She left him behind so that she could go study. So he's gonna follow her when she gets settled down. Makes me kind of sad that he's separated from his mom. But it's for the best. She's trying to secure a better life for him. Being a parent it does something to the man. Well, for most people who have a heart, some parents don't care about their kids, unfortunately. But I think for most normal people, when you have children, you just get superpowers. My mom tells me all the time when she says, when you have children, you understand. Like, it puts a different type of battery in your back. Like, you just have a fire in your belly. You want to provide for them. Like, there's nothing you can do for them. She always tells me, like, when she has a hard day at work, when I ask her, how's your day, all that sort of stuff, and she's like, she'll still complain about something. I said, well, what can you do when you've got mouths to feed? What can you do when you have children? She always says that. And she's not saying it like as a woes me type thing. She's saying it like, y'all are the reason I do all this. Like, she's genuinely driven by us. I think it gives her so much energy. It gives her purpose, for sure. My mom is great. But yeah, my sister, the same thing. Like, I think she's doing all of it. She lives in Zimbabwe, by the way, which is chaotic. The economy is just and a coup. I think they're having another coup. They had a coup just like maybe a decade ago. Because remember, like, there was Robert Mugabe, who, he was terrible. And then his party, ZANU-PF, was was in power for a long, long time, but then a cooler stage, and they were thrown. I think Zanzibar is still in power, but that was old. I don't think he was running anything, but there was a coup, and then there was a new leader installed. But now that people are upset with him, so now there's going to be another coup, and people are optimistic about how that's going to go. I'm like, why are people excited? Like, what's going to change? We had a coup before, and nothing changed. Like, why y'all think that this time will be different? I don't know. Some people are just. I mean, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if there was different results, but like, there's no evidence that this would be anything other than a disaster. But we'll see. It's sad, but hey, man, it's the world. So my sister was just like, man, I gotta secure a better future for my child. So she's doing things legally. You know, she's not one of these jumping the border type people. She's a very learned woman, and she applied legally. She's going to be there on a student visa, and yeah, she's getting a master's in IT, and eventually she'll get a legal residence and all that sort of stuff, pay her taxes, all that good stuff. So shout out to her. I say all that to say there could be a situation where that's where the family ends up congregating. Where, you know, if she moves there, I could move there. Well, not Michigan in particular. I don't know if I want to live there. What? I don't want to sound like a snob, first of all. So, yeah, I have nothing against Michigan. I don't know much about Michigan. I really don't. But, regardless, what I was saying is like, I could move there and then everyone could just start moving there. The whole family can congregate there, possibly. I'm weighing my. I don't have options at this point in time. Actually, I don't have options, but I like to think about these things and draft plans. So when I think about where I want to live, for sure the U.S. does make a lot of sense just in terms of culture, language, all that sort of stuff, opportunities. I do worry about the economy. $36 trillion in debt is nothing to scoff at. Especially after like the COVID period. Oh my God. They're spending, reckless spending, because people were staying at home and the government was just giving people money like no one's business. And they were supposed to stop at a certain point. Some argue they were never supposed to do that anyway, but you know, the lockdowns, they just went on for too long, dude. And they're just giving people money they didn't have, by the way. Money they did not have, and they just racked up inflation and debt that was already astronomical. You know, America loves a war, so they always going to war with a bunch of people or finding wars. There's a whole bunch of things. You hear about USAID and the stupid things they were spending money on. You know, like people will say, "Oh my God, USAID! If they get rid of it, like what's gonna happen to the African countries that need money for like Ebola stuff and whatnot?" By the way, I think those programs are still on, but you need to understand, USAID was genuinely used to fund like evil things, like. When you hear about destabilizing governments and funding terrorist groups and militia groups and opposition parties that stage coups and all that sort of stuff, we know that foreign countries are involved in these things like Western countries, but we don't know how they do it. USAID was a vehicle for that. They would fund a lot of these operations. So they're doing a lot more harm than good. Africa for a long time has been subjected to the interference of a lot of foreign entities, and they have ways they go about that. USAID is definitely one of those, and it's nice that it's being disbanded. I think it's just a net negative force in the world, but the damage is done, especially on America, because they're racking up debt through these foreign adventures. So I do worry about that. It's not about Trump or Biden or anything like that. This is like decades of bad decisions. That sometimes you worry that the chicken will come home to roost. Or what's the expression? In here in South Africa, there's the Afrikaans expression that says "die poppe sal dance." Die poppe sal dance. I don't even know what that means. It's like the direct translation. What is poppe sal dance? But basically it just means that shit gonna hit the fan, man. Things are gonna be lit. So sometimes I'm worried about that. But call me crazy, I do have faith that this current administration will sort things out. Even though things are chaotic right now, I do see the wisdom behind some of the decisions that are being made, even if some people don't. I love following like YouTube channels that like discuss economics and whatnot. We hear about the tariffs and all these other things. People are like, these tariffs are inflationary and these tariffs are this and that. It's like, there's actually a long-term game plan. And when you're talking about fixing a economy that's been wrecked for a long time, there's no way you can do that without temporary discomfort. There's just no way you can do it without temporary discomfort. There will be a period of high prices or just uncertainty, whatever. It's inevitable. And any leader that sells you this dream that everything's just going to be nice and there'll be no pain, they're lying to you. And they're just kicking the bucket down the road. What's the expression? Kicking the can. They're kicking the can down the road. So maybe they can do a bunch of public spending, giving away free houses, giving people free money, like what we're seeing in COVID, to make people feel good in the moment. But long term, there will be serious consequences. During election season, Biden's government, they cut interest rates and all that to make the economy seem better than it was. But people were predicting at the time, like, y'all are cutting interest rates at a time that you should not be doing that. Because that's gonna have serious ramifications a few months from now. That's exactly what we're seeing right now. They kicked the can down the road. They said, we'll let Trump do that. Which is, yeah. But people don't know this. They don't pay attention to news like that. So they'll blame homeboy for what's going on right now, even though it's like, you have to understand the economy is a slow moving ship. So decisions you make now, they can be felt months later from now. So you're thinking about the Trump economy, that's really only going to be in effect like a year from now. Like his full agenda will only be in full effect like a year from now. Because it takes time, and like I said, the economy is a slow moving ship. So you can do some things here and there to alleviate burdens. But people have to understand, like, these things, they take time. So you have to be able to brave the storm and be patient. So overall, I'm optimistic, but I do have concerns. Because, oh my God, $36 trillion in debt. That's crazy, bro. It's not a joke. But yeah, so because of that, I think about alternatives. Like, what would the alternatives be if it's not the US? Where? I don't know. I think about Japan sometimes. I think it's such a beautiful country, and I like the collectivist mentality. I think it's safe, not that much crime, and it's just it's a laid-back society. I think there's a lot to like about it. I think the language barrier is problematic, especially you talk about bringing your mom over and whatnot. I don't know if I think she would be willing to learn. She's very smart. I think she'd be able to pick up on the language and be able to communicate with people. She likes to farm. She has her own little garden. She's always she used to have a farm back in the day. She actually had a farm, a full-on farm. She was doing well for herself. She used to be better off financially, but then in the early 2000s, the Zimbabwean economy crashed, and that's why we came to South Africa. But before then, we were doing pretty well. You know, we had a nice house, and she had a farm somewhere. So now it's just been building back up, trying to get back to that point, and go beyond that even. I think Japan would be great for farming for her as well. She could do the countryside and do stuff there. The thing that was like, I was looking up yesterday that kind of turned me off a little bit is like homeschooling is basically illegal in Japan. It's not basically, it's illegal. It's illegal. You can't just homeschool your kids. You have to enroll them in a school, and then maybe you can do like a hybrid of homeschooling and sending your kids to school. Like there's some international schools that allow you to have, you know, partial participation with your kids so that they can go sometimes, but they have to go to school. I'm not a fan of that. I want to homeschool my kids 100%. I don't like the idea of some people I don't know whispering in my kids' ears. It's just, I've been through the public school system. First of all, there's the education system in general. I'm not a fan of. I think there's much more efficient ways to teach children, especially like children who are like more creative and whatnot. And they just need special attention. Some kids are great and like you just give them assignments and you can just leave them alone and they'll figure it out. Some kids are really good, but some kids, they need time and they need your attention, all that sort of stuff. And how do you do that in a class of 30 to 40 people? Obviously, people are going to get left behind. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the whole structure. And even if there's like some structure that's more attentive and all these sort of things, I just want to be around my kids, or at least the very least have my wife around my kids. And I know that my family is together. So the whole homeschooling thing is very important to me. It's very important. So when I hear things like, you know, I did research about this when I'm learning that homeschooling in Japan is an uphill battle. It's illegal. You have to enroll them in some form of school. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Maybe we could end up doing one of those hybrid situations and it'll turn out well for us, maybe. But I really, really want to homeschool my kids for various reasons. And it's not just out of distrust of the system, because you could potentially find a very good school that's actually very good for your kids. I want to be around my kids. If I want to travel somewhere, they can come with, because they can take their school with them. Wherever we are, like, they're being schooled by us, so they're being schooled by my wife. And yeah, so it's not really a thing of like we have to be in a physical building to learn. So yeah, I don't know. Japan is tricky, man. So I just think about that sort of stuff when I'm considering. So these are like the strengths and weaknesses. America, the economy is like what's going to happen in this future, and there's always drama in America. You know, there's always something going on. I feel like the benefit of Japan is that it's very low key and laid back, and the people there just generally aren't very political. So you can kind of just melt into the society and just go about your day. In America, there's always like debates and this and that, and it can be a bit much. But there's also the freedom of just, you can homeschool your kids if you want to homeschool your kids. There's some like states where you don't pay state tax and whatnot. You still pay federal tax, but you know, there's just certain freedoms you can enjoy in the states that you just don't enjoy in a lot of other countries. But there's drawbacks as well. So it's like every country has its strengths and weaknesses. I don't think I'd ever live in the UK. The UK is becoming very socialist. It's actually kind of crazy. Like there's a very strong anti-rich sentiment that's brewing. I mean, it's been there for a long time, but it's getting kind of crazy. And you're seeing that reflected in the amount of billionaires and millionaires that are leaving. So for the first time ever, I think last year they lost more billionaires than they received. Because people move into the country, people move out. So of the rich people moving in, there were less of them than the rich people moving out, which is like a big problem. It means you're bleeding off the people. And some people think that's a good thing, but some people think I'm telling you that's not a good thing. They pay the most taxes. I know people don't think that, but they actually do pay more taxes than anyone else. So when they leave, your taxes as an average person are going to go up to make up for their absence. So people's taxes are going to like double in some cases. Now these are the projections. This is what economists are saying. It's like taxes are going to get crazy out because you're losing your highest taxpayers, and these people bring business to the country. So if they leave, they're taking their businesses with them and taking their businesses to enrich other countries. So this whole anti-rich sentiment, I know it's like cute and fighting the power and whatnot, but you should be mad at your government. You shouldn't be mad at citizens who build businesses. Be mad at the government. The government is the one you should be yelling at, not rich people. But you can't. I think the culture is just so anti-rich in the UK that you can't say these things. They just won't. They won't hear it. They won't hear it. They want someone to be mad at because understandably the cost of living is insane. There's a lot of pain that's being felt because of the economy, and they want someone to blame. But they're blaming the wrong person. I'm going to blame the government, not blame wealthy people. You're picking the wrong fight. You're barking up the wrong tree. So yeah, I don't think I could see myself living in the UK, to be honest. Maybe visiting. I got family there. My other sister lives in the UK. Yeah, but we might have to move them out, to be honest, if things keep going the way they're going. People are very scared of where the UK is going to end up in the next few years. We might have to move them out and bring... So that's what I was saying. It could very well be the case that we all just end up in the States, because my sisters are going there, she's not there yet. So she's there, then my other sister could go there, and then I could go there, and then everyone just ends up there. That could be the case, man. You never know. Who knows? But I just pray that God blesses us with moving and that all these countries do well. I want the UK to flourish, of course. I want it to get its act together. I want people to do that. I understand how people will be upset. It's not nice when you can't afford the basic amenities. So I get the frustration. I just pray that things get sorted out and that things don't get out of hand, because that would suck. And that just globally, we enter an era of prosperity that's felt by everyone. I want technology, I want AI, I talked about nanotech and the massive potential for wealth generation. I talked about that on my community tab at some point. There's a whole lot of promise in the future. I just pray that it's not concentrated in certain areas while other areas don't get to feel that. I want the whole world to feel that. And we've seen with technology as it improves, that it spreads wealth. I know people have a lot of grievances, but you need to understand, guys, we are the wealthiest humans that have ever lived. But by far, it's not even close. If you think about life expectancies and what people used to eat, infant mortality rates, diseases, all these sort of things, and you combine all that, oh my god, it used to be bad. Just like a few hundred years ago, like before the Industrial Revolution, which was like late 19th century. So not that long ago, people were struggling. People were poor. I think the total rate of abject poverty was like 95%. 95% of people were abjectly poor. And now it's like less than 5%. So things have improved. So I know like you have to put things into perspective. So even if you're struggling right now, trust and believe you would not want, because sometimes I see people say things like there's not much difference between me and a peasant from back in the day. I'm like, You don't know what you're doing wrong. People are struggling, yes, but you don't, bro. You don't want to live back then, man. Things were hard. It was brutal, man. To be a peasant back in the like constant work, slaving away, and a lot of you were doing the same type of work. There wasn't much variety in terms of what you could do. And the nobles would own all the land. Everything was theirs, and you barely got anything for your toil. And you die very early. Your children would die very early. Just death all around you. Diseases. There were no cures to a lot of diseases. So a lot of times, if you just caught a common cold, you were cooked. Like things that were very curable, that are very curable now in Scotland and now, but those were serious diseases back in the day, man. Whoa. You just don't want to be in that time period. It wasn't great for a lot of people. It wasn't great. Winters. Imagine like in a period of time where you couldn't heat your home. Now we take it for granted. You can just heat your house if it gets too cold. There's ways to keep yourself warm these days, you know. You can go to the store and get a couple blankets for very cheap. You can do this, you can do that. Back then, winter was a killer, man. Very cold winters and very hot summers would kill a lot of people. Now we've mastered the seasons. The seasons we used to be slaves to the seasons. Now the seasons are slaves. Now the seasons are our slaves. And we just flipped it. So so I say all that to say that we genuinely are the wealthiest human beings to ever live. I know it doesn't seem that way sometimes for a lot of people, but we definitely are. And my hope is that with this new technology boom, manual labor will be done away with. It'll be a transition period. There might be a bit of discomfort, but like we've seen with every other technological revolution, incredible wealth is generated. The poverty rate it's struck down. We're already at like 5% when you talk about abjectly poor people. So if we can get it to less than 1%, that'd be amazing. And people are just living better than they are right now. Technology has the power to do that. You just make life very affordable. There's talks about universal basic income because when the machines just start taking jobs, how are people supposed to earn money? So there's talks about how it could get to the point that the wealth that's generated by all this new technology is so abundant that you can just start giving people money to live, just to be alive. Here's some cash. Go do what you want. It could be the case. Or new economies could be created, new types of jobs so that people can continue to work and get paid, but just in new ways. So we'll see what the future holds. We'll see what the future holds. It's uncertain. You don't know where things are going to go. You're like, what's happening? It's very scary. But at the same time, there's a big part of me that's also optimistic. I think I'm more optimistic than I am pessimistic. There is a part of me that's just like, we're cooked. But then there's another, I think a part of me that's just like, the future looks bright. That part is bigger than the we're cooked part. I am optimistic. But it's hard, man. It's hard to predict where this is going. It's hard. Yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments. If you know I like to play, then I'll give this video 5 minutes. Thank you for sending what you're watching, so thank you for making home and you can go on and close peace. Thank you for blessing us with yourself. I want to be alive, love them, take care of them, be them, so blessed out of them. Thank you for maintaining the ones that are there to do the same thing. Thank you for blessing this person with love and marriage and sustaining that love and marriage and making it very, very happy. Thank you for blessing this person with the spirit of gratitude so they can give thanks for the wonderful things in life. By giving thanks, they can find peace, contentment, and attract even more blessings. Let your prayers be followed in this prayers of love, so you know that you're God, that you know that you love them, and you'll be there for them. Good health, long life, and happiness over this person, and really care about you, man, and pray. In Jesus' name I pray, amen, amen, and amen.